Hey, I'm Rob from JTRPodcast.com, and this is my first impressions of Checkpoint Charlie, which is a cute deduction game with puppies and kittens and stuff. And what you're doing is you are dog investigators. You're trying to find the cat suspect. That's it really. If you find the right suspect, you're going to get lots of points. If you find almost the right subject, you're going to get a few points. If you don't find anyone, you're going to lose points. So let's take a look at how the game sets up. So everyone is going to get a dog, and you can see them all here. All very nice. I'm going to go with Jimmy Laces, just because I like that name, Jimmy Laces. Each of the dogs comes with a token, so I'm going to take the Jimmy Laces token. And I'll put that to one side. You have all these cats in this cat deck, and you can see some of them are wearing sunglasses, some of them aren't, some of them are wearing hats. Some of them aren't, some of them are carrying newspapers, some of them aren't, some of them are wearing jumpers, some of them are wearing coats, and that's very important. There's all different combinations. Some of them are grey, some of them are ginger. So there you go. That's all these different cats. They've all got their own unique names, which is cool. You give them a shuffle, and you put them here. Now, there is this bag. This bag contains all the tokens. It's a tiny little bag, and it's got all the tokens inside of it. And what you do is you will take one of the tokens at random, so you give them a shuffle. You will take it without anyone seeing, and you will put it under your hound card, face up. So only you can see what it is. So let's take a look at it. It is this. So this is my clue. The suspect is wearing a coat, not a jumper, which is the other side. This side, a coat. And everybody's going to get one of those in a 5-player game in a less than full amount of players game. So not all the tokens have gone around the table. There's a rule where any unused dogs are shuffled back into the deck, and then when they're pulled out, you pull a token from the bag and you put it face up, so everybody knows, for example, that the cat is not wearing a hat. And that's how it works with fewer than 5 players. Because it is a 3 to 5 player game, it plays in about 30 minutes. So here we go, I'm Jimmy Laces. I know the cat has a coat, I'm keeping that nice and quiet. So what you do is you go around the table and you take a look at a card, and you flip a card over and make sure everyone can see it. Now this cat has a coat. So this cat matches my clue, so it could be a suspect. So I'll put him in the middle of the table, and then you go through. All the players are going to go around the table doing their thing, their clue. So if they're not wearing a hat or whatever their clue says, if it's what matches their card, they'll put it in the middle of the table. So again, he's wearing a coat. Let's just say he's not wearing a coat, so he goes in my discard pile. And then you're kind of getting a clue. You're kind of thinking, okay, a lot of their cards have got hats on, and a lot of their discard pile hasn't got hats. Could it be that? But also, all the ones wearing hats are ginger, and all the ones in the discard pile are grey. They're also all carrying a newspaper. The ones in the discard pile... Oh, no, there's one in the discard pile not carrying a newspaper, so I know it's not that. And then you're kind of figuring out what you can do looking around the table. When you think you know which one of the cats that's out currently, obviously they're going to be in the middle of the table, because anyone that's been discarded is not going to match all 5 clues. Then you take your token at any time, doesn't matter if it's your turn or not, and you put it on the cat like that. And this will continue with cards coming out, obviously, all the time. And players are going to be putting their tokens on until one person hasn't put their token on. Then the round will end, and then you do a bit of scoring and you see who's correct. So everyone reveals all their tokens, and you look to see what the clue is. So in this case, we have a cat who is wearing a coat, and let's just say he's also ginger, and wearing a hat and sunglasses, and is not carrying a newspaper. So say these are the 5 clues. That matches Babushka right there perfectly. So in this case, this player would get a token, and there are different types of tokens. There are these yellow ones. If you get all 5 clues right, you take one of these randomly. They are between 3, 4 and 5 points. If you get 4 out of the 5 clues, which is obviously very close, but there's only one perfect answer, so not everybody can be right, you then look at the card. So this one, he's got a hat, yes. He's ginger, yes. He's got a coat, yes. He's not carrying a newspaper, wrong, but he's got sunglasses. So we've got those 4 right, but this one wrong. So 4 out of 5 clues, you take one of these tokens. These have got white backs, and they are numbered between 1 and 2 points. So you're going to get something for being almost right. Obviously, it's not very good to accuse the innocent. So if you are more than one clue wrong, like this one, he's wearing a jumper and he's carrying a newspaper, you take one of these black markers, and these are numbered 0 and -1 point. And then there's always that person who didn't get to place their token. Maybe they were too slow, maybe they were sure that the right answer wasn't out there. So what they would do is now you'd see whether or not somebody got it perfectly right or not. So obviously in this case somebody did. So the player that didn't make a guess would take a black mark. They would get 0 or -1 point. Just for being a bit slow. Everybody likes a fast detective, especially when you're paid by the hour. But let's just say they got it wrong. Maybe they thought they were carrying a newspaper and they went for that, and the other player that went for there went for this instead. So nobody got the 5.1. It could be a case of that the 5.1, the one that was actually fully correct, hadn't come out the deck yet, so maybe it was still in the deck. So all these players weren't fully correct. So the person who didn't make a guess obviously did the right thing. So they, instead of them getting a black marker, they'll get a white marker. Instead of getting 0 or -1 point, they're going to get 1 or 2 points. And that's the round of the game, so players are going to add up their points. If anybody's got 10 points, the game will end and that player will win, or the player with the highest number of points will win. The game will also end after 5 rounds, or if one of the piles of points token, one colour of points tokens runs out, then the game will end, most points wins. This is very fun, it's very good, it's very interesting when trying to work out the clues. It does rely on players being correct and being accurate and paying attention, but it's not that hard. I mean, either a newspaper or not. Or, sorry, holding a newspaper or not holding a newspaper to get the token the right way around. That's all you're looking for. It's not as if you're looking for anything too strenuous on your turn. It's not as if you can really get the clues wrong. I'm sure it's possible to do it by mistake, especially when you're playing round after round after round. There was one actually, I nearly did it. I played where the suspect had a coat in the first round, and the second round I drew the same token, suspect had a coat, and then the third round I drew the same token, the suspect didn't have a coat, and I was still in suspect had a coat mode, and sometimes I nearly put the card in the wrong place. So, possible. But yeah, nobody did it as far as I'm aware. A lot of the rounds ended fairly quickly. People were really good at deducing from what had come out. Somebody got one correct after one round of cards. I don't know if there was a really, really lucky guess and then they really didn't let on afterwards that they did guess it, or whether they just did a really good job. Who knows? But yeah, it's a really fun game. If you like deduction games, especially if you like cute ones with all the different kiddies, look at the kiddies. I do like the kiddies. They are very nice. And they've all got their own names as well. Tiny little kiddies. That is Checkpoint Charlie. Remember to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at JTRPodcast, to find the blog and the podcast at JTRPodcast.com. I've been Rob, aka Jesta ThaRogue, and I'll see you soon.